Why does the internet hate nostalgia? Anytime people are remembering the good old days, somebody has to try and ruin it. Rose-tinted glasses! Okay, boomer! Now I admit, there are times when even an entire group of people shouldn't feel nostalgic. But we're not talking about demographics. We're talking about you, me, and Grandma. I want you to try something. The next time you're sitting there looking over your collection of games, not sure what to play or what's worth playing, go back to that other library, you know. The one in that launcher that's on life support with a new name you can't remember. You Google the game you used to love and find out the app is called EA, and for some reason, it's still auto-updating every time you turn on your computer. For me, that game was Battlefield 3. You download that game, launch it, delete some files that cause it to crash, download some sketchy fix, and it's time to game. Wait, there aren't any servers in your country? Oh, that's weird. Is anyone playing that game? Run the search filter and For a while, I was trying to scratch an itch that Battlefield 3 gave me way back in the day. I wanted to be an American soldier with an AK in some unknown Middle Eastern city. But everywhere I looked, every new release, older releases with some players, I just couldn't find it. I knew there was an experience to be had, I'd played it before, it just didn't exist anymore. There aren't any games that quite get it right anymore, and maybe I was just out of luck, doomed to wait patiently till that chord was strummed again. Maybe I was just being a prude, maybe I needed to get with the times and accept that games have simply evolved. It's around the time I realized something though. I realized that nostalgia is actually extremely important. The fun I used to have isn't outdated, it's just been forgotten. The tides have changed. The ocean still exists. Nostalgia grounds you. It brings you back to better times even when they weren't all that great. It reminds you where you came from. Nostalgia lets you compare and contrast the true difference that time has caused. It lets you feel the tracks that were being laid without you even knowing. Those rose-tinted glasses allow you to enjoy life the way you used to, and they're the flower on the gaslight of life. And when I wrote that, I was actually thinking of a grease fire because I am indeed a very special boy. Before we follow that train though, let's watch our DoorDash driver take a detour to see a fucking McDonald's. FOMO, the fear of making out. When it comes time to kiss that thing you've been dreaming of, it's easy to tense up. It's totally natural to worry about your breath, your hair, your BO, body oddities. We're talking about the other FOMO though, the kind that makes you crave that new thing people are raving about. The feeling of being left behind in an increasingly fast world. The worry that you won't experience something in its prime. That when you get there, you'll just be left with about 30 German guys and 200 ping. FOMO is the anti-nostalgia. FOMO comes from a dark dungeon, while nostalgia comes from a spring field. FOMO is the fear of pain, but nostalgia is the pain. You can't miss without having lost. You can't fear without being hurt. Between the two, the one that carries more weight comes down to you and about 30 German guys. The fear of missing out is powerful, and it's primal. If your tribe is wearing slick, woven hats while you spend the whole day making an outdated deerskin sash, you may never have to fear making out again.
You better get your ass weaving unless you want to be the very first incel.
I remember feeling stuck in the past playing Modern Warfare 2, of all games, because when my family moved, my stepdad wouldn't let me take my friend's copy of Black Ops 2 with us that he let me borrow. You know what I learned from that, though? Absolutely nothing. Unless you're aware of FOMO and willing to overcome it, that feeling will overtake your whole experience. Staying up to date with new releases isn't always a bad thing either. I recently coughed up $60 for Kingdom Come 2, and yes, I did save a little bit. What the fuck? And it was fantastic. It feels good to be experiencing something that you know millions of other people are also experiencing. And it's a communal feeling that's all too uncommon these days. That being said, you shouldn't let fear drive your gamer heart away from old but gold experiences. Because years later, far down the line, the FOMO dies, and you'll miss whatever it was you were doing when it was alive. The sting of being left behind fades, and the missed opportunities of fun become painfully clear. We all eventually remember the good old days. In recent years, I've noticed something that really bothers me, though. Games lose their player base alarmingly fast. Pal World had 1 million players in January of 2024, and 4 months later it only had 20,000. Pal World was everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. People particularly enjoyed the indentured servitude, and 4 months later it only had 0.00005% of its audience still playing. Valve's game Deadlock, 170,000 concurrent players on September 24th. Only 20,000 by January. BattleBit Remastered, everybody praised the game. The Battlefield Killer, 45,000 players in June, only 2,000 left by the next June. Games don't live anymore. They flash. They shine so bright, only to fade and barely be remembered. I remember Black Ops 2 being alive for years. I never struggled to find a match in Modern Warfare 2 over a decade. I was playing Battlefield 3 on my Xbox 360 5 years after it came out. Just fine. Something has gone seriously wrong. Is that just nostalgia? Do I just have rose-tinted glasses for a better time? Probably a bit of both. When someone says a game is dead, they aren't asking you to champion it. They're signaling to anyone who will listen that it's time to abandon ship. And these same people will call a game dead when it's got well above 50,000 players. We all know that friend who will call a game dead and be back right on it a month later. The problem is that the title doesn't fit the description. People are quicker to call a game dead than ever before, but what makes a game dead? Can a single-player game be dead? Can a co-op game be dead? This fine gentleman here made a video in a new genre I've seen where people play dead games. The only issue is, my game was in this video. First I was hurt. You never want the game you made to be in a dead games video. It actually turned out great though, because this video doubled our player count. I'm not entirely sure our new players spoke English, and I think that led to them struggling to learn the game, but that's neither here nor there. These videos are a great way for games that flew under the radar to get some exposure that they deserved on release. My game, Lovebirds, is single player though. It has co-op, but there aren't servers or anything like that. The experience you have playing the game has nothing to do with how many people are online. I'm grateful for the exposure, but how did we end up in a category of dead games? By the way, play my game Lovebirds. Lovebirds is free on Steam. You play as a bird, you raise a bird army while getting them cats. I'm still updating it, improving it. My girlfriend Skylar here did half the art, and I did the rest. You free the birds, you fight the cats, you raise the army, you poop on the enemies, and you build the base. Check it out if you're interested. Also, while you're at it, if you're into punk, grunge, or metal, check out my music. It's under my name, Jackson Hill. I just put out an album called Social Disinfectant, and it's my favorite one yet. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. Anyways, my point is this. Just because a game is dead doesn't mean you can't play it. Yes, you may have higher ping than you want, and for some reason Germany is the last country on it. Yes, it may feel dated and not control how you're used to. Maybe your friends have moved on to newer, flashier titles, but that doesn't have to stop you from playing a game you love or loved. There's also a good chance that game is free now, if you emulate it. Emulation is a beautiful thing. For some reason it's legal, and you can play literally any game before the year 2013 for free, as of recording this video. I fear for the day when emulation gets regulated because it's like opening a door to a place you didn't even know existed. Emulation's a very ugly thing though, because the Xbox 360 is now a popular choice for it. If you have a decent enough computer, or you're old enough to remember the 90s fondly, emulation is for you. Download a trusted emulator and that's it. The line ends there. You download the emulator, into the road! Personally, I never actually played Zelda. I've always had an itch to, but I haven't owned a Nintendo console since the Wii. That's why I recently ChatGPT'd the best Zelda game, got a Nintendo 64 emulator, then I legally purchased a copy of Ocarina of Time, definitely bought a CD drive. Remember those? CD drives? Anyway, simple as that, I was playing one of the best Zeldas ever made. Even though I don't have nostalgia for Zelda, I do have nostalgia for that era, back when games looked like the first hour of a Blender project. Back when standards hadn't been set and controls were being freestyled by two Japanese guys. Why are the aiming controls inverted? Zelda gives me nostalgia for when you had to be a seasoned detective to figure out how to solve incredibly specific puzzles for a kid's game.
Alright, I've been stuck on this fucking part for hours. I don't know what to do. How do people play this without internet? I'm just gonna fucking look up a tutorial.
And so he threatened him and blocked off their source of food. So now they're all starving to death. So suffice to say, he's not in a very good mood. What you need to do is kind of odd. They don't really give you very many clues on this, but you need to play Saria's song. And we got this in the last... Here we go, we play Saria's song, and then he just burst into dance. Yay! Right, so once he's done doing his jig, then he will explain that his depression is gone.
Incredibly specific puzzles for a kid's game. You and I aren't the only ones nostalgic because of emulation, though. Corporations are nostalgic for a time when we would actually fucking pay for their games. One legitimate reason people are skeptical or even evasive of nostalgia is the monetization of our memories. When someone is happy, they're more likely to buy, and what's easier to sell them than something they've already enjoyed before? But consistently, these remakes and reboots have been pretty dog water. Take-Two Interactive, the parent company of Rockstar Games, is a good example of this. Back in 2020, they started shutting down all fan-made recreations of GTA San Andreas and Vice City. They took down mods and they took down external remakes. The mods were loved by the community, and the external Unreal project was just being used to make YouTube videos. Nonetheless, ceased, desisted. Shortly after, Rockstar released a definitive edition remakes of San Andreas and Vice City, both of which were despised by the players, released in a broken state and crushed the work of modders. These days, the games are in a much better state, but what people remember is the disappointment and bad behavior. When our nostalgia is rewarded with pig slop over and over again, that not only makes pig slop the enemy, it also makes nostalgia an enemy by association. Take away your nostalgia and a bad remake is nothing more than a bad game. Personally, I think that's the wrong approach. It's like flirting with nihilism or some shit. I don't fucking know. At the same time, I completely understand why some people get jaded when it comes to their favorite pair of rose-tinted glasses. The internet doesn't hate nostalgia. Our survival instinct does. The survivor man in us is avoiding hurt, and he's trying to spread his seed. The neglected fan in us is hiding their eyes, and the hopeful idiot has become a doubtful douche. What's life without some risk, though, huh? There's nothing more human than going against our nature. Challenge your mind, because it's the only thing that separates you from the bugs. The next time those good old days seem so far away, crack open that rickety launcher, download that impressively small game, and... I just gotta know, what is this? Why are there only German servers left for this game? Culture of remembrance, Erinnerungos. Germans place a significant emphasis on remembering their past, which can sometimes lead to a focus on nostalgic elements of history? Oh, God.